Hello, this is Purge, bringing you guys a first-person replay commentary. Sorry about the audio issues yesterday. It was because XSplit updated, in case you guys didn't read the comments. XSplit had an update, it's the software I use to record these, and it changed one of my settings for before, the microphone that I'm using. It has a mono input, which means that it has up to 2 different audio channels that I can input for like left and right audio, and I only have a mono source because I'm only using one microphone plugged in, and you're supposed to check this like box, and it's supposed to change it from like stereo. It's supposed to like duplicate your mono. Sorry, the camera's like way off. It's supposed to duplicate your mono, and I didn't have that checked because of the fact that the software updated, so that's why I'd only record on one ear. I unfortunately didn't check it before I uploaded it, so sorry about that. But it should be good now. If it's not, that sucks, and hopefully I'll fix it by tomorrow. But it should be okay. Okay, so I did a replay commentary yesterday. I did of a close Enigma game, and this day I am going to do another solo queue game that I played. This one was Vengeful Spirit. I think the Enigma game was probably around 4,800 MMR, and this one was maybe a little lower, because I think it was right before I won a bunch of games, so it's probably like 4,700 MMR in this game, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. So usually my MMR fluctuates. Worst case, it'll get down to 46, but then I usually work it back up pretty quickly up to like 47. That's only like a really big loose streak, and the highest I've ever had it solo is like 4850. So usually it sits between 47 and 4850 or so. That's usually where my MMR sits. So that should give you guys some reference points for the skill level of the players in the Southeast Asia server. So I think I picked pretty last second here, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember this game very much because it was about a week ago, but I picked Venge apparently, and that's who I'm going to be going over. I think somebody asked me for a Venge replay recently, and I don't remember if, I don't know, when I moved, there was this guy that updated this Google Docs, and it would show like, he would like make a spreadsheet of all the heroes I played, and I could like easily check to see what heroes I had been putting out, and unfortunately I lost track of the URL, and I don't remember the name of the guy, and unfortunately I can't check anymore. So I kind of have to do like a really ghetto YouTube search is like the only way I can get it to work. So unfortunately I don't actually know when the last time I played Venge's, but I play Venge a lot in pubs at least. I don't make videos of her very often, maybe is the only thing. So I'm just going to try to go over a lot of support principles this game and give you guys a good background on how to play support a bit better, at least in your pub games. Obviously I'm not a top tier support by any means, but in terms of pub level I'm pretty darn good. If we talk about percentile basis, I'm in the high 99th percentile, so this should give you a pretty good example. Now first things first, I actually had a lot of extra money this game because somebody bought the courier and somebody bought the observer rewards, which was really nice. So I was able to buy both a sentry and a smoke. Now when you're playing support, there's usually 2 supports, and your supports should usually buy observer wards, courier, that's one hero, and the other hero should buy sentry wards with a smoke, which I guess was exactly what I bought this game. I bought a sentry and a smoke. I'm moving towards the bot tower. I'm not sure why. Oh yeah, that's right. We kind of wanted to, I don't remember exactly, but I was thinking about going down there to try to get a kill or something. But we had a jungling Legion commander, and I think I was typing to him a lot because I was upset that he wanted to do jungling Legion commander or something. I thought that our lanes would be better if we did like, oh that's right, Tide bought support items. We were hoping Legion commander would go offlane and maybe we could like aggro tri-lane or something, but he ended up not going offlane. He was like, I'm gonna jungle. And I hate it when people jungle like that, because look what he's doing. He's going into the small camp, and he's taking small camps, which means that I can't pull, which means that my ability to get farm is a little bit weak. So if he kills the small camp, it kind of hurts my pull potential. I can't really cover the Mirana very safely. So it like really messes up your lanes, as well as the fact that Legion Commander really can't gank well until he hits level 6, because he doesn't have a stun. He has the ability to chase people down and kill them, but it's not like really good. So a jungle Legion Commander is basically a hero that's just going to sit in the jungle for a very, very long time and be quite annoying. So I really don't like dedicated junglers like that. It really bothers me. I really don't think that they're very useful personally. So but that's what we got this game. We got a jungle Legion, so I'm going to speed the game up so we can start up again. Anyways, I'm playing support. I can't pull right now. The wave on the top lane is in a really safe spot, so that means my ability to get a kill there is not very likely, so I'm going to do a lot of roaming. And the time that you want to approach is usually when they're on the low ground here. Heroes can see a bit farther than creeps can, and unfortunately for me, I just got a little unlucky here. I mean, the likelihood of this gank working was pretty low. What I probably needed to do to secure that kill right there was, I'm actually going to pause this game, if you guys don't mind, just to show you guys some stuff. What I really needed to do, I think I have to unpause to be able to move wherever. let's pause again. Alright, game's actually paused, but okay, so the Kunkka was standing, range creep was on the high ground, the Kunkka was standing about here. I think the tower vision goes to somewhere around here. So if I really wanted to make this kill successful, or more likely to be successful, I would head to smoke and approach here. If you stand here and the heroes are down here, you're invisible, even to towers and stuff, until you get to about this range here. I'm using arrows. Okay, good. Until you get to about here, you're going to be invisible, and then the ideal scenario is that the Razor starts a static link right here, and then I show, and then I stun the Kunkka right here. And this should give us, I don't know, maybe like 50 extra damage from the Razor. We probably won't be able to get a kill with just a Razor and Avenge, but putting some pressure on him isn't necessarily the worst thing. Razor should be able to stomp this lane, to be honest. I read that Kunkka AMA, and he said that Razor is one of the only true hard counters, and I think that's pretty fair to say. So he really needs to make sure he shuts him down, in my opinion. But just roaming like that is sometimes good, because basically the wave here was at a very safe point. Like, if the creep wave's here, and the Nature's Prophet's farming here, the only way that I can approach the Nature's Prophet that's going to give me an angle, or an angle to initiate and not be at a horrible... Like, let me explain angle really simply. If I approach from the front, like let's say I just run through the lane like this, and Nature's Prophet's standing right here. God, man, this like edge pan is like really weird right now. Alright, I'll just use arrows. Alright, if the creep wave's here, Nature's Prophet's standing right here, and Mirana's right here. And if I just approach from the top, like this, if I just run straight down, and I run straight at him, if the guy is so stupid that he stands still, and I can land a stun on him, and Mirana can arrow on him, that's great, but it's very likely not going to work, basically. I don't know why the hell this guy grabbed leap at level 1. It's not going to work, probably. He'll just back up, and even if I do get the stun off, he'll start running away as soon as I'm about to throw the stun, and by the time the stun lands, he'll probably be standing like right here. He's very close to a tower, and it takes a lot of right clicks with 2 heroes only to get a kill, unless you have some like super amazing damage dealer like Ursa or something like that. It's basically not going to work. So my ability to kill this Prophet at this point in time was not going to happen. My ability to pull was not going to happen because the Legion Commander stole it. So I decided to go mid, and I waited here around the corner where he couldn't see me, and I waited until he went to the river, because when he goes in the river he can't see as far. If a hero's standing right here, they can see like all the way to here, or like all the way to here. So I waited around the corner until he was low ground, so that his vision range was only to about here, and then I approached. And it didn't work out, and that sucks for me, but it's not the worst thing in the world. It puts a little pressure on him. He's going to be slightly scared. He's not going to be as greedy for getting last hits, which means Razor should farm slightly more than him. And it did waste my time, but it was better than almost anything else I could have done. The other thing I could have done, instead of attempting this gank, is I could have stacked one of these camps instead of 53 seconds. So the fact that it didn't work sucks, but it's not the end of the world, basically. So now I'm going to go try to do other stuff. And that's basically just a little bit of decision making about why I just did what I did. Oops. I was actually... Anyways. So that's pretty much everything. You could also argue that maybe I could have gone to the bot lane to try to set up a kill, but if it's a Tidehunter and a Vengeful Spirit, that's honestly not going to happen. So at this point I said, okay, ganking Kunkka is not working because the creep wave is really far forward. What I could try to do is get a kill on the Nature's Prophet. So I'm sitting really far back here, just in case the Nature's Prophet is standing right here, which he is actually. That vision range should be somewhere around here. So what I'm doing now is I'm waiting to see where Nature's Prophet is, and then I'm approaching. And I see him all the way up here, so I'm moving in immediately. So okay, I'm getting ready to stun him, and there should be an arrow from Mirana. So here's the first stun, here's a couple right clicks, arrow's going to hit. I'm just going to keep right clicking him consistently. Once in a while I'll walk away from the creep wave and I get the kill. I maybe should have let the Mirana take that. The biggest mistake that I actually made was that I didn't go buy boots right here. I should have purchased boots immediately because it's very early before the 3-minute mark. I do want to buy a flying courier for my allies, but I'm not going to do that for now. Now the rune's spawning at 2 minutes, so I'm going to go pick up the rune. Or at least go make sure that my team gets the rune. And then I should be able to eat my last tango. If I would have gone for boots, I would have been a little late to the rune is the only thing. So rune's going to end up being bottom. I'm going to ping that for my ally so that he can see it. And then I can try to figure out where I want to go next. Now I see the Prophet's a little far out, but not a huge amount. So the only way that I'm going to be able to, and I want to make this really clear. If the creep wave is right here, the only way that I'm going to be able to initiate is if I approach it smoked. Because if I approach without a smoke, he'll see me when I'm here. If I approach with a smoke, he'll see me when I'm here. So his timing, his reaction time will be a lot lower. But the biggest mistake that I made right here is that we have a bunch of creeps. The wave is pushing. That means he's not going to be standing here for very long. As soon as this creep dies, he's running backwards. So what I should have done is I should have popped the smoke when I saw this creep wave pushing, and I should have immediately ran behind the tower here. If you approach behind the tower with a smoke, the creeps won't see you coming, the tower won't see you coming, and as soon as these creeps come under the tower, you throw your stun and you get the kill. But because I walked this way, I wasn't paying attention to where the creep wave is moving. I'm going to miss my opportunity, and that's what ends up happening here. So watch, I say immediately, I'm like, oh crap, the creep wave's pushing. I should have been watching that. And if we go to like 1x speed, I'm going to try to go behind. And now I'm behind, but the creep wave is pulled way past, and the Mirana's not there anymore. And now the creeps are almost dead, which means our timing window is gone. And now I wasted my smoke, and I wasted some of my time. So what I should have done is, as I was checking the rune, I should have checked top to see how the wave is moving to predict what I was going to do next. And now I'm finally moving in again, but because I wasn't in position, by the time I'm getting here, again, there's only 1-2 creep waves left. So if I do go in on this, it's very likely he's going to see me. He did see me right there with the tower because my smoke broke, and he's maybe a bit scared. But I lost potentially 2 opportunities there. I should have predicted the creep wave coming in by looking, and number 2 mistake was that I didn't then get in position for the follow-up creep wave afterwards. So now I'm going to try to just approach from the river if possible. We'll see if he comes a bit far up. If he does, I can approach. And now I'm walking in. And this is why I talked about the boots thing. If I had boots there, I would have been able to land that stun probably, because I would have been able to approach faster. So I was a little frustrated with that personally. I said, oh, I should have bought boots. But it was really like 3 things that I should have done. The first was I should have paid attention to the creep wave because I could have got around behind in time. Number 2 was I should have just gone for the second wave. It was a little more dangerous there, but I could have tried that. And here, like that's exactly what I'm talking about right now. If you approach from the front, they're just going to back up and you're probably not going to get the kill. And that's what I tried to do there. I'm just trying to zone him now at this point though, and try to make sure that he doesn't get full experience if possible. I'll run at him again. His creeps will die and he will not get the experience for it. Which is exactly what I accidentally stole that creep. I think I typed sorry that time. But yeah, fast boots are really important to have. And I can't stun like that. I need to make sure that I stun him when there aren't creeps in the way, because otherwise the Nature's Prophet won't get hit by the follow-up arrow. We need the arrow and the stun to secure the kill. So I'm going to buy a TP scroll now. These are all very important early game items to have as a support hero. I upgraded the Flying Courier at a little bit after 3 minutes. You should have it about 3 minutes, especially if your mid is like really likes bottle crowing. I grabbed my boots, I grabbed a TP scroll, and I still have enough mana pool. His sleep at this bottom is really weird, but he missed his arrow, unfortunately. But getting a kill in this Nature's Prophet is pretty much not happening, so all I'm really accomplishing here is sapping experience, which I think is a bit of a waste of my time. What I should be doing, I think, is going mid and ganking. In fact, my Razor has no idea what he's doing, and he's actually getting completely outlaned here. He's got 12 CS versus the Kunkka's 20. This should not happen. If you're playing a Razor versus a melee hero, you should have way more last hits than them. So, anyways, I'm going to go back to ganking, checking to see if there's a rune top, but I'm pretty late. It's 34 minutes and there's nobody there. So I'm going to try to gank the mid lane. Now it's nighttime. I have a lot more potential to get kills here. I'm going to... this is a really bad time to approach. Oh, that was just really unlucky, but... I didn't see where he was. I assumed he was going up to last hit, which is why I moved in. And then because he wasn't there, I assumed that he had a ward. But looking at it now, I can see that what he did was he backed off to pop a tango. So I kind of lost my opportunity there, unfortunately. But I think what Razor should be doing is he should be playing more aggressive. The place that Razor should be standing. These ganks are not likely to happen. I maybe should have gone around again instead of coming from the side. If you come from the side, your angle of attack is really bad. That guy's dead for sure. But I should be able to at least pull the creep wave past to stop it. Like, there's a lot of things that I could have done a lot better here that could have gotten me 1 to 2 more kills and would have put us in a really good spot. But I'm going to move over to the tier 2 tower because I want to make sure this doesn't get killed if possible. Looks like they had a ward up because they spotted me here. I mean, they obviously ice pathed me. They saw that I was coming. I assume there's a ward over here somewhere. Not entirely sure, but... It's good ravage. And I get a double kill, which is good. So despite some of my mistakes, things are going okay-ish now. Again, I should have gotten probably at least 1 Kunkka kill here and maybe 1 more Nature's Prophet kill. If I hadn't made mistakes on my movement and my gank approaches, then I would have been able to get those off. Like that side gank here on Kunkka was really lazy. I should have walked all the way around again. And I should have been a little bit more patient on the first attempt. I should have waited until he went up for a last hit. But the problem is, see, I thought they would have an observer ward here because they ice pathed me perfectly from fog. But I actually don't know where their observer ward is. Oh, there, it was right there. So he just timed it perfectly was all. He saw me approaching and he threw the ice path. Anyways, So I should have approached better on the Kunkka. I should have maybe gotten that kill. Even still, the Razor should have way more last hits than him, and he doesn't. My team is actually farming pretty bad. All 3 lanes are farming worse than their lanes, which is pretty sad. At least Mirana should have pretty good farm. I guess he's been contested a lot, but now I'm shifting over to the top lane. As the support, you should be there for pushes like these to try to cancel them out. Looks like the Mirana's in a lot of trouble. Does she have a leap? I don't know if she had leap or not, but it doesn't look like it. And now I can't really approach. I'm trying to stay over to the side here. I'm going to wave a terror this though, so that the creeps have less armor. But it still is going to die almost immediately. So I'm going to put an observer ward down, and then I'm going to run away. My positioning here was really dangerous. Luckily for me, I barely got fogged. If this was daytime, I would 100% die there. So that was pretty stupid. He keeps almost casting it on me, and now he's missing spells. But I didn't realize it was so close. Razor's going to chase him. And now what I need to do is basically regain control of our jungle. Whenever you lose your tier 1 safe tower, it's really bad because it kind of cuts the map. It cuts off a lot of camps. Basically, you have 3 camps that don't become as safe to farm. So it's really important that you do end up covering your jungle, and this is a good ward to do it. You can also place one out over here in the lane. That's really good. I like this one a lot personally. I was hoping somebody would come for this. It's good to hit like 2 times before you fall up here. Oh, he did hit him good. But don't throw your stun right away there. It's really important that you don't, and I didn't do it here. What you need to do is you need to attack a few times first. So I saw that he was there, and what I did was I attacked, and then I threw a stun. If you throw the stun right away, then he just leaves. He says, oh, you stunned me already? Okay, that's fine. You need to take advantage of your movement, your positioning, to attack a couple times first. That looks like one dead hero. My positioning isn't the best. Luckily that caught like a lot of people. I basically have nothing left, so I'm just going to contribute with a wave of terror, and then I have to leave because I don't have anything else to cast. But even though, even though I haven't done any pulling yet this game, I've still contributed a shitload. I've gotten 4 kills, I've gotten 2 assists. I've been responsible for, at least partially, for 6 out of our 7 kills in the entire game. So despite us having a jungling Legion commander, I'm going around the map and I'm getting a lot done. And this is all without an ulti. I basically just have a stun and a decent right click and a wave of terror to reduce armor. That's all I need to be able to contribute on the map, basically. It's like, if you're good at roaming and things like that, I've made a lot of mistakes this game, but if you're decent at roaming, you can make a lot of good things happen on the map with a little coordination from your allies. So try to be in the right places at the right time. It's really important. Playing support is, by all means, by the way, I haven't spent any money here because I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to buy, so I just kind of saved a lot of it here. I'm going to TP in, so it looks like I can help. And I'm going to go on the squishy guy. Almost have enough for a swap. I'm going to swap now. Put him back in range of my allies. And we get another 2 kills. I got assists for those ones. We did lose the tower though. Kunkka got the last hit on that. But we're getting a lot of kills. And this is snowballing us a bit. So it cost me a TP to show up there. But I helped secure 2 kills. And that was definitely worth it. Always carry TPs. And if you're out of mana like this, you have to go back to base. So I spend a lot of time going back to base this game. Just because I'm out of mana or I'm out of HP. I could right this problem slightly if I bought something like mana boots or whatever, but I really don't like buying mana boots personally on Vengeful Spirit. I think it's a pretty big waste. You're much better off going for a Force Staff first, which I think is what I ended up buying this game, and I finally was like, alright, I should spend my money. I really should. I've been holding it too long. You should always spend your money a lot faster than this. I was just not completely sure what I wanted to buy, and I was thinking like maybe I should just rush a really fast Blink Dagger and do good things with the Blink Dagger, but I don't think that would have been the right choice either, so I just said, screw it, I'm going to get a Force Staff. I'll buy my Staff of Wizardry that gives me an extra 130 mana, that's 1 more stun. I can use this on the map, I get another TP scroll, I get a smoke, and I'm going to go move out. Buying a Magic Wand is almost always what I'll buy in the early game, but since I was doing so well this game, I didn't really want to spend the 200 gold, because if you get a ridiculously fast Force Staff, and this is a ridiculously fast Force Staff for support, if you get a really fast Force Staff, it's really useful for your team basically. So if you spend 200 gold on something like a Magic Wand, it can delay your items, and that's not always a good thing to do. It's oftentimes better to give it some time. So they end up taking the Roshan. I probably should have done a better job this game in warding. I could have had a ward up, maybe spotting that out. I should have realized that they were going to go for that. But unfortunately I didn't, so that's partially my fault. Let's see, he placed a ward right there. I should have checked that. I didn't notice this Prophet teleporting either. I was a little greedy there with the swap, but it got me out of danger, and we got a kill on the Prophet. He didn't get bonus damage. I maybe should have stayed around as well, but my HP was so low I really didn't feel like staying there was going to be useful. And then I kind of came back again just in case, because I felt like maybe I was going to be able to help. Oh, he's got a haste, that's really good. Razor did a nice job there. Now I'm alive and coming back. Well, I'm still alive, that is. Still haven't died yet. Don't be afraid to use your mana to farm a little bit, sometimes like that. If it guarantees you last hits, it can be useful. And now since I know Nature's Prophet's alive, I have to TP back to base. So this is maybe a mistake. This is one of the problems with staying to farm a bit too long, but I really didn't want the possibility of Nature's Prophet picking up my kill. So I ended up buying some detection here. What is this for? Oh, I assumed that they had a ward there, because the Nature's Prophet TP'd on me from Fog, so I said, okay. I should another mistake, by the way. You see pro players doing this a lot, and I made the same mistake here, is that they leave the base a little early before their HP is fully regened. They do it because they're trying to be efficient on time, and they're just misguessing a little bit what the timer is. So this is a mistake, but it's not a game-losing mistake by any means, but you should be careful. So I assumed the ward was over here. I ended up not catching it. I looked for it and I couldn't find it. I was a little frustrated, so I assumed it was slightly more to the right. And the biggest mistake was I didn't click on the the Jakiro as he approached, because if I did, I would have known for obviousness that he'd put a ward there. But I ended up finding it, so it cost me 200 gold, but it kills an observer ward. I mean, it's going to make it a little bit harder for them to push. I find a sentry as well, which is, you know, pretty good trade. So that means that we can maybe use our Potta multi to initiate there. Now there's a push bottom, so I'm going to go shift over for that. So sometimes it is worth it, even if you're playing a support, and I would love to have my 4-staff finished. It's sometimes worth it for you to wait a little bit. I'm going to try to swap him. I almost got him. That swap would have been really good, I think. But we're going to get these wards at least. Almost got my force. And this is the problem against their draft, basically, is that they're doing a lot of split pushing. They basically have like 4 pushing heroes, and we're kind of just running around trying to defend everything. Oh, I stunned a creep. That was really bad. I got this guy at least. I'm gonna end up dying there. I give my killing spree, I think, to other people. I really wish I landed the stun on the Lycan. I was really sad about that. It's a pretty big mistake. We don't have any stuns here. If I actually did stun him, I'm almost sure that he would have died. Almost for sure. Him dying over the Shadow Shaman would have been way better, especially because I lost a killing spree when I died and I gave that gold to them. It split between Shadow Shaman and Lycan, but still pretty good for a Lycan there. So I feel bad. I really shouldn't have died. That was a mistake. I shouldn't have missed my stun. It is, I mean, everybody misclicks though. Even top tier pro players misclick sometimes. And when they do, it loses them games sometimes. But getting that kill on him there would have been nice. He's probably the most important hero on their team to kill, other than maybe like the Kunkka, I would say. So 51 CS at 16 minutes. That's a bad sign, guys. They have an Orchid on their Prophet is the problem. So I'm just going to do a little jungling for now because I want to get my farm up. So this is kind of how you have to do it. Just kind of run them in and out. Looks like they got another kill. If you make the creep spend a lot of time running at you, then you can kind of just run back and forth and attack occasionally. If you stand still and just auto attack, you're going to end up taking a lot of damage. So this is kind of how you have to jungle as a support, at least in the early game when I don't have a lot of HP regen. Now I have to be pretty careful here because his ability to kill me is decent. I'm going to chase after him here. I seem to remember I messed up really bad here. I really should have wave attacked that earlier. Just should have waved as soon as he crossed. I did this so bad. It was like the sloppiest thing ever. Now I had to be really careful. Dodging the obvious torrent, and we end up getting the kill. It's really close though. As soon as he started juking, I should have wave of terror and swapped him, is what I should have done. And that was where I made my mistake. And as soon as I missed the wave of terror, then I was like, oh god. And all that time we spent chasing him around. We didn't use Ravage, and we got the kill, but that should have been way cleaner. That was just really bad execution for me. That was like literally all on me. I needed a wave of terror and then swap and then stun. He would have died way faster. Only downside is if I actually did use the swap on him, I would have ended up not being able to cancel a TP if he decided to TP, but it's okay. I mean, my KD is still amazing for a support. If these are your stats on a support here, you're playing just fine compared to the rest of your team. I think I have the best KD on my team, KDA. Yep. I mean, my team is actually doing okay. They're all positive. Their team's pretty negative, relatively. Alright, and we're going to use the smoke because we know that we got to start making some kills happen. We've got a Legion Commander anyways. I don't know what items she has. Does she have Blink yet? She doesn't. She went Armlet Treads. I was just running over here to put a ward down quick.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Fortunately, top is pushing in a bit. Force staff myself. There's the old swap. He gave her the old duel, so he gets bonus damage. It's pretty smart.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And now we're going to back up and go defend again. So if you're ever playing a support and you just kind of go passively farm like this, you have to be pretty careful. Because your hero is quite squishy. So people like ganking you quite often. Luckily for me, I timed that perfectly. You gotta wait you just look at the X timer and wait till it's about to run out. And then as soon as it's about to run out, you just gotta use your Force Staff or your Blink Dagger. It's the only way to survive. Well, I mean, I would have lived if the boat hit me, but it would have been kind of close. So, just look at the X timer. As soon as it ends, use your Blink or your Force. Looks like our Legion Commander died again. That's 2 times now that he's actually died trying to push bottom lane. Kind of big feeds, to be honest. We haven't really gotten a tower yet, but he shouldn't be pushing bottom solo. That's not okay. This is a pretty good ward for covering your jungle entrances, by the way, because it'll spot people coming from their top tower, spot them coming to the jungle this way, and it'll spot people going this way. It doesn't spot anybody going through the mid lane, but we already have a ward set up there, so basically this ward basically covers our jungle very, very well. It covers most of the entrances. The only one it doesn't cover is the one right through the lane like this, and then in. But that's a very uncommon spot, so it's important to just cover the main areas. And that makes it so our jungle is still covered despite losing that first tower. We kind of are trying to keep our wards up in the middle of the map. That way we can see where they're crossing into our space, if possible. I think one of the best things I maybe could have bought this game in the early game is a gem, because I could try to get our map control back. It's really important that we stop their split pushing and things like that, and they actually have a lot of wards up as well. But, yeah, flying out a TP scroll. I've got my Force Staff already. Force Staff is great to have at this point. I'm putting a lot of points into my aura, which is your damage aura. Most games, if I'm playing if I'm behind and I'm playing Venge, I'm almost always going to max out Magic Missile and Wave of Terror first, because you can throw them out and then run away. But this game we're doing really well, or at least I'm doing really well, so I know I'm more likely to be just alive still. We're using a smoke here, just looking for some kills. Oh, we actually find one. But I've got 3 levels. I didn't really know why they could see me there. That was weird. I've got 3 levels in my Vengeance Aura because we have a lot of heroes. We have decent damage, but we don't have super hard carry damage, so I want to be able to pump up my allies' damage, basically. So Razor, for example, is getting, I don't know how much damage from this. Like, quite a bit of damage, probably about like 25 or something like that. He's getting pretty good damage from it. The rest of my carry heroes are getting good damage from it. It's really... Oh, there's a spot.
Dire's top tower has been denied.
That's a good kill. And that's why Force Staff's so good to get really fast on Venge. Like, this is why I decided not to buy a magic stick, because it affords you the ability to do that. You can... Changing positioning is something that, like, really confuses your opponents, for example. It gives you the chance to get kills that you shouldn't have. And we're going to be able to get a tower from this as well. So we got a Lycan kill, and we got a tower kill. We lose our core again. Our cores got picked off so much this game, solo. I don't even know if the Shadow Shaman has a blink. He has a Force Staff, so maybe that's how. Probably Force Staffed in and stopped him, but... We're going to try to take Roshan, or at least I pinged it, and I was like, hey, let's take Roshan. But I think our Legion Commander's HP wasn't very high, so... I mean, we're all getting really out-farmed, though, is the problem. Like, their heroes are all farming better than our heroes, because my allies are not very good at last hitting, I think. And I don't think we bought any Midases and things, and we keep dying. But it makes sense, like... There's an Orchid on the Nature's Prophet. He's getting a lot of items. He's casting his ulti every 60 seconds to push the map, so... and the rest of their heroes are just farming jungle spots, so... It's kind of difficult for us to pick up farm. I knew that we'd be fighting again, and I saw the Shadow Blade on Nature's Prophet, so I have to buy a Dust. I wanted to get a point booster, because I wanted to pick up an Eggs. Eggs is pretty good on Vengeful Spirit. Maybe I should have just saved straight for Blink instead, but I pick up an Ogre Club just to increase my survivability and all that good stuff. And now we should be able to take Roshan. I mean, they still have a ward, obviously, but that's a good pickup. Legion's actually, he's choosing his kills pretty good, but he keeps getting a little out of position, it seems. That's the mistake he's making. But on the bright side, we should be able to take Roshan out. I wanted to break his Lincoln so he gushed, which is why I threw the stun.
Roshan has fallen to the dire.
Looks like Razor takes it. Ooh, something got killed. I don't know what that was, but... I wasn't actually intending to swap him here, I just kind of wanted to scare him and it worked. He used his ulti. So I could go farm top, I could stack an ancient camp, or a jungle camp. Just stack this right here. Instead I just started right clicking it. Maybe stacking it would have been better, but my right click damage isn't that bad actually, since I have quite a few levels in me. Then just stacking is pretty good all around. 2.6 strength per level, that's really good actually. As you can see, I have no strength items other than Ogre Club, and my survivability is pretty good. 2.6 is actually, that's really good. Our agility gain is 2.8 and our int gain is 1.75, I think. So her only thing that's a bit lacking is her int gain, but once you get Force Staff, you have a little bit of passive HP regen per second, so I can very safely just jungle like this. It's not like the fastest thing ever, but if there's nothing going on the map, then I can do it. What I think I should have done instead of just passively jungling, though, is I should have bought a smoke, and I should have organized my Legion Commander and my Tide to go around ganking more. Because they were out farming us, and I didn't really realize it at the time, but if you look at the CS totals, they're kicking our butts. Their net worth is way higher than ours is, but that's mostly because they have towers. Mostly, if we got as many towers as they did, which is 4 or 5 towers, all of our heroes would have approximately 1,000 more net worth. And then our carries would be on the same level as them. The only hero that wouldn't be on the same scale as them is Prophet, because Prophet's been casting his ultimate every 60 seconds. But the rest of the heroes we could catch up on, and then I would be above all of their supports instead of just one of them. You know, things like that. Towers are a really big deal, and if they're taking more towers than us, it's making the game pretty difficult. So I probably should have sold my Ironwood branch. I should have bought like Observer Wards or Smoke or something like that, and it looks like I will actually do that, which is good. So grab an Observer Ward, gonna run to the bot lane, gonna push that out while they hopefully take top. I wish that I was top in this case, but unfortunately I can't be there super fast.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
This was a really big mistake. I didn't think their whole team was there for some reason. That was by far the worst feat of the game for me. I really wish that I was there, but unfortunately, that's a big mech.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
He actually did end up getting the bonus damage, unfortunately. No smoke either, so. Yeah, the death was really bad though. I should have, like, even if I swapped that guy and tried to 1v1 him, he has way more farm than I do. He's got like 3 damage items or something. He has a Shadow Blade, he's got a Maelstrom, he's got an Orchid. And all I got is a Force Staff and a stun, you know? Like, I can set up kills on him, but I need somebody else to do the damage. I can't win a 1v1. He would have silenced me anyways. But I felt like he was ratting for some reason, so I felt like going in on him. And like, little deaths like that are so important because I could have been alive for that fight otherwise, and I probably could have secured an extra kill. And instead all I did was die and give them more farm. So that was a pretty big mistake. Luckily I didn't lose any killing sprees or anything like that because I've been all I've been getting is assists lately, but it's too bad. It's too bad that I died there. That was just my mistake though. You have to learn to fight against those urges where you're like, oh, there's an opportunity. You have to like really know for a fact if it's a good one to go for. And everything about my gank there was just really shit. So what the Kunkka has started doing here is he's going for, that should be an easy kill. He's going for these things where he X's himself, it lasts up to 8 seconds at level 4, and he blinks forward to splash, and then he casts X to return himself, essentially. And it makes it so he teleports back to where he was, basically. I think you can cancel it with things like Eul's Scepter, but I didn't think about it until after. Like right here, there he is. Jumps forward, does the splash, teleports back. He goes really, really far away. It's a really good way to like get your Tidebringer off and slow down pushes without threatening your own life, pretty much. I'm gonna have to go back here.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Messed up my Wave of Terror a little bit here. Ooh, I should have swapped the Prophet actually.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Luckily I do end up getting the Lycan. Looked like he was AFK or something, I'm not entirely sure.
Dire's middle tower is under
Yeah, I forgot about that one. I guess he was trying to blink Ravage or something, I'm not sure. But we can't kill him anymore. No way that I can stun him. So a little sloppy there by me. I should have... If I'm in a Wave of Terror, I should be getting ready to swap mentally. Otherwise, I shouldn't be using it, probably. Like, you can use it to look where people are juking, which is how I used it. But I should have been ready to swap with it. And if I would have done that, I could have swapped Prophet back in and maybe killed him instead of the Lycan. We do kill the Lycan in exchange for the Mirana, but I maybe should have saved Mirana as well. It's hard to say. She's not our most farmed hero, but I don't know. She isn't doing very well. She actually has very few items, considering she was safe lane. Prophet's destroying her, but he does have a Midas, so there's a lot of things at work here. But anyways, I've got a lot of money now. Can probably buy something else. We again lose our Legion Commander in the middle of nowhere. This guy, this is like the 3rd time that he's died by himself in an unsafe position. The other 2 times were close to the tier 1 towers, and now he's died right at the middle of the map. You shouldn't be standing here, and like if the game is this close and the only shitty wards that I have up are covering like this part of the map, then you really can't farm safely there. You can go to your jungle and your ancients and maybe like a little bit over here, but the middle of the map is way too dangerous. There's too many farming areas that are close by that somebody could just shift over from. So that was stupid for him to farm there. That was entirely on him. So now that we have a dead Legion Commander, we have to like slow down this wave, summon a Wave of Terror so that they have less armor, so the tower kills them faster.
Dire's top tower is
Sends
under
himself
attack.
back again. See a little bit of Lightning Storm waste from Razor here. I really wanted to get that. That was 200 gold if I would have killed that. I really should have Force Staff for it, I think. Again, he's going to send himself back. I was hoping to see him there so that I could approach, but fortunately he was gone. So at this point I'm just saving up for Blink, and that's because I've been spending a lot of time chasing after people but having trouble securing the final disable or swap or whatever. So I said, all right, grabbing eggs is good because it lowers the cooldown of another swap, but what I really need to do is I need to increase my mobility to counteract their mobility. And if you don't counteract their mobility, or you don't have good ways and you're a slow hero like Venge kind of is, then you're in a bad spot. So I had to save up and get a Blink Dagger next. If I don't get a Blink Dagger, I'm having trouble initiating on all these heroes. And even if you do initiate, it's not going to be as clean, usually. Trying to swap him. I don't know if I was gonna. All right, that should guarantee it. Just wanted to make sure that he died there. Ooh, I feel bad now. That arrow was gonna hit. Hit him, hit him, hit him. Okay, good. He did die. That was a bad swap by me. I didn't even realize at the time. And unfortunately, we just got racks. I think I should have gone for the ranged one, maybe. I'm not sure. I have to worry about dying to Nature's Prophet. It's like we lose a Mirana again. You know what he should have farmed is a Manta immediately, or a BKB. But he didn't do either. Like, that was really bad decision making from the Mirana Friday builds. If somebody gets an Orchid at 17 minutes in the game, you need a Manta style or a BKB. You have to get one. Otherwise, every time that guy finds you, you die. And that's what keeps happening to our team. Do we even have a BKB on... Okay, there's a BKB on Legion now, but it wasn't there before. Oops. There we go. Should be easy kill. He got a Rax out of it, but we get a mega kill streak at least. What does that give Razor? Halberd BKB mech, it's pretty good. Kind of wish that he just went for an eggs instead, because the survivability is pretty good. But I think this game is being entirely lost by my cores, to be completely honest. I mean, I think I did a pretty good job roaming, basically. I'm just gonna stand within range for EXP. We didn't kill the Kunkka again, unfortunately. But like, I've got a ton of kills, I've got a ton of assists. What we need to do is we need to better push out the lanes and not have our cores die. If our cores, the problem with our cores is they're not becoming self-sufficient. If they're not self-sufficient, and by that I mean that they can't survive a gank by 1 or 2 heroes. If you get to a point where your cores die to any Nature's Prophet TP, you're going to lose the game, because that means that any time that the Prophet or that the Mirana goes somewhere solo, you lose. And if you don't quickly build into a solution to that, like a Manta or a BKB, then there's never a point where they can safely just farm, you know? Like, it's just never going to happen, unfortunately. There won't be a time where it'll be safe. And you need to make sure that there's a time where it's safe to go do those things. Otherwise, you're going to lose. Oh, I got killed by a splash. I forgot about that. I was pretty salty about that. So you have to make sure that your cores can be self-sufficient and that they don't do stupid things and die dumb ways. And we've had at least like 3 or 4 times that I've noticed so far this game. And I've obviously made stupid mistakes as well, but I've far outweighed that with good plays and like kills and roams and stuff. But when our Prophet, or when our Mirana dies 3 to 4 times from an Orchid and he doesn't build into a Manta style immediately, or a BKB, and if our Legion Commander dies 3 times solo because he's too far out on the map, it just really makes the game a lot harder, because if those heroes are dead, they push in farther. You need those heroes to be self-sufficient, and they need to be alive. They need to push out of the lanes, and they need to protect you from split push because of that. But if your heroes are getting ganked off while they also have split push heroes, then you're going to get behind, and that's exactly what's happening in this game. We got Raxed, we're almost Raxed on the top lane, and Nature's Prophet's constantly ulting. But if you have all your heroes up alive, and you're self-sufficient, and you slowly get kills, and you don't die, then eventually you're going to get to a point where every single one of your cores can solo kill their heroes. I didn't realize somebody placed a ward there, which is a mistake from my ward, but my ward won't get dewarded unless I get a gem. Anyways, so I'm just trying to put a ward outside of where they're going to approach from the racks, because it's good to see them coming and to be able to counter initiate on them if they try to retreat. But it's really important that your cores can eventually get to a point where they can just solo kill the Prophet. If that happens, if my Legion can solo kill the Prophet, which I think he can right now, but if he's like really good at it with a blink and he has so much damage that Prophet can't do anything, if he's able to solo kill him every time, if my Mirana is able to solo kill him every time, it puts us, like right there, it happened. Like Legion Commander with a little help from Mirana, they killed the Prophet. And he's dead for 80 seconds. If you become self-sufficient where you don't die to the Prophet, and then you can start be so self-sufficient that you can solo kill the Prophet, then Prophet can't push anymore. And then your team gets put into a really bad spot where they can't split push nearly as well, and eventually you're strong enough where it only takes like one guy to defend, and you kill one of their guys, and it's 80-second cooldown, and bam, then you should be able to counter the rat. But our team wasn't really able to do this because our cores weren't able to stay self-sufficient enough to not die. So instead it has to be like me, going out on the map where I'm less of an important hero to kill, and I'm just going to run around and try to push the lane slightly, and try to be there for my team. So I'm just going to grab this double damage. He put wards down, but he's backdooring, so it actually does nothing, so it doesn't bother us very much. In fact, he pretty much wasted the wards here. So I'm trying to be here. Unfortunately, I used a lot of HP here, trying to kill the Jakiro. I don't think I played that fight well at all. I really don't. I played that fight really bad. That was not the hero to focus on. What we needed to do is we needed to kill the Kunkka right at the start, but with this Blink Dagger X thing, as soon as the fight goes bad, and as soon as he gets unstunned, he just sends himself back. So it's kind of functioning like a BKB. The Blink Dagger on him is really cool, actually. It's a really nice buff. Kind of makes me want to play Kunkka and solo queues. So I'm just going to be really careful here. I'm trying to slow down the wave, but there's only so much I can do. And I need to go heal. And now they're pushing at mid because we lost a fight. It's our Prophet. Our Razor Slant. He has a cheese. He's going to have to buy back here for sure. Don't worry too much about the fact that I never upgraded my boots, by the way. Boots upgrades are good, but they're not required, especially on a hero like Venge. What I need to do is blink forward and swap somebody. I did that a little slow. I think he still dies, he does, but I could have done that better. Number one, I blinked too far forward. So the problem was I blinked too far forward. Oh, that was a big splash. Oh, I bought back. I forgot about that.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So I blinked too close, therefore my swap didn't actually move me very far. That was the first mistake. Second mistake was that my stun was slow afterwards. I should probably stun before Wave of Terror. There's no point to Wave of Terror first. You should always stun first. If you stun first, their positioning stays the same. But he was able to run about 200 to 300 units away from my team. So when he was stunned, my team had to catch up before they could disable him. So I should swap stun and then Wave of Terror. That was the mistake I made there. And that would have made Lycan die easier. And then because Lycan would have died easier, we could have moved on to the next target a little faster. Like little things like that are really, really important. And I bought a gem finally because I want to see where their wards are. I want to deward them if possible. Unfortunately for me, I'm pretty damn sure they actually don't have any. Yep, they actually have no wards on the entire map except for right in the middle. So buying this gem was a complete waste. I'm like looking around, I'm like, that's funny. Where's their wards? I don't know where they are. Where are the wards at? Mirana buy. She still does. She actually went MKB before she went any survivability items. Literally one Nature's Prophet can kill her, guaranteed. One Orchid and a Sprout, and she will die. She can't do anything about it. Little misclicks here, but oh, he was all the way down there. He ends up getting me. But we got 4 heroes. Looks like we still... Did we just lose top barracks? Okay, that's where they got all the kills. There was another fight top, and they killed everybody, but we lost barracks, so... We're basically being ratted down, and unfortunately, we're not able to I don't think we're going to be able to come back from this. I really wish the Mirana became self-sufficient. He really needed a BKB or a Manta Style. This game really needed it. And obviously I could gank better and I could team fight a little better, but I did fairly well, I think. I think I did best on my team at least. Razor, I really like the Tide as well. I think he played well this game. The Tide had a lot of good decision making. I mean, he missed a couple things, but I think the Tide played really well, and I think I played pretty well. The Legion Commander did well, other than the fact that he got overextended on the map a lot. And the Razor did pretty darn well, except for the fact that he should have crapped on Konko a lot more in CS in the mid lane. If he would have laned a lot better mid, then we could have won, I think. Yeah, I think that would have helped a lot. Yeah, we can't even take a tower, you know. So that's gonna be mega creeps. And from here it should just be a little bit of a push down the mid lane as they shit talk. No way guys, one Orchid and he died. What happened? So now we send the base, try to get as many kills as we can. Well, he's dead. Oh no. Oh good, he got it. I thought I messed that up. Run. Creeps are so strong. Oh yeah, one thing I didn't clarify yet that's really important. I stressed how important it is to become self-sufficient against rat heroes like Prophet. And the question you should be asking is, what should the Mirana do in the period of time where he knows that he's not self-sufficient? And what you should be doing, if you know you're not self-sufficient, if the Prophet pops out of the jungle and he's got a Midas and an Orchid at like 18 minutes, which isn't that unreasonable, and you haven't started on your Manta yet, or you haven't made a BKB yet, well, first of all, you should probably be like, well, maybe I should have built that a lot earlier. That's your first mistake. You should probably say like, oh well, I could have built it, but I didn't. You know, I could have prepared myself for this opportunity, which was very likely and stuff. It messes up quite a bit, but you should have prepared. So next game, maybe you cannot make a mistake. But what you should be doing is then you should immediately start building that thing. If you can, stop what you're doing and build for the next item. You should say, okay, well, we really need to build. We really need a Manta right now. And you build it right away. And what you should do is farm very safely. You should be scared, and you should generally spend a lot of time by your allies. And if you can do that and not lose too much from the Radiant until that time period, then you'll be in an okay spot. I didn't really know how far back. God, he comes from so far away. So try to hang out with your team a bit more until you're self-sufficient enough for you to be able to actually take, to be able to solo farm and stuff like that.
Dire's middle tower has fallen. Dire's ancient is under attack.
So, like I said, farm with your allies, farm very safely until you get your Manta or your BKB. Once you get those, then you can start going into more dangerous parts of the map or being less worried about Nature's Prophet killing you. Assuming he doesn't have a sheep. If he has a sheep, then it's still tough, but...
Dire's ancient is under attack.
So, yep. This is how our game ends, guys. Almost impossible for us to push in. Just looking for, like, wards and stuff.
Dire's ancient
I just bought Boots of Travel so I could run around a little faster, because I knew we were probably going to lose anyways.
is under attack.
Almost had enough for... I think he just died to creeps.
Is under attack.
It's okay though, he's got a refresher. Maybe we should have gotten like a Blads or a Maelstrom or something, that would have been...
Dire's ancient is under attack.
I mean, we're killing him. So if we just like got a little bit more self-sufficient early on, we easily could have won this game, because like we're way stronger than they are. I think our net worth is maybe not higher, but yeah, our net worth isn't higher, but we're way stronger as a team. Our EXP advantage is huge because we keep not dying, basically. So,
Dire's ancient is under attack.
and you know how this all ends. Defend, 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 defend. They got an Aegis.
Dire's ancient is under attack. 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 Dire's structures are fortified.
Thanks for making their KDAs suck, right, guys?
Dire's ancient is under attack. Radiant victory.
And the shit talk. Oh, what's the cool dudes? Ah ha ha ha, GG, ha ha ha. Cool guy. So, hopefully you guys understand these principles of early support. They're pretty important. Hopefully you guys understood and learned a lot about how to beat rat. Like I said, core's got to be self-sufficient. They got to be able to solo kill the rats. And when they can do that, it prevents the rat for 30 seconds for a minute, and then you push all the lanes out and you take tactical advantages. But you have to make your cores able to kill the rats, and they have to be able to do it without dying, and solo sufficiency. And once you get a couple rats killed through ganks and stuff, then you can push out and force objectives in your favor, and that's how you win the game. So I played pretty well this game. I'm happy with the performance. I could have played better, and I made a lot of mistakes and things, but it'll get better. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned a lot. I hope the audio is coming out both ears instead of just one. And thanks everyone for watching today. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll see you later. Bye.